Breaking news, a sudden burst of new activity at Nancy Guthrie's home today. Multiple people in suits were seen both inside and outside the home, and they were there for hours. Now, it is not yet clear who they were or why they were there now, more than 3 weeks, almost 4 weeks since she disappeared. But several large vehicles, including the SUVs and a truck, also could be seen. Now, this is the most significant activity that our reporters have seen at the home in about a week, and it comes a day after Savannah Guthrie offered $1 million for the return of her mother. Now, it is an offer that the FBI says has led to at least 750 credible tips so far. Ed Lavendera is out front in Tucson. He's been reporting on this. And Ed, you've seen this activity at the house, and you've also, you're the one who said, well, look, I haven't seen anything like this in almost a week. So what do you know about the activity? Who was there? Why? What was happening?
Right. Well, over the last several of these visits, investigators have described it to us as routine work. So it could very well be that's happened in the past. But I think it's been about a little more than a week since we've seen any kind of federal investigators out here at the scene. Last week, they were at a neighbor's property looking at a camera on the corner of a property, and then back at the house. But there's a significant amount of time that they were seen here at the home. They were walking around the sides of it, going through the backyard once again. That was very common in the early weeks of this investigation. So whether or not this is routine work that is being done, it could very well be that, or it could just, could be perhaps something that is based off of what we know to be true is that after the Guthrie family announced this $1 million reward, perhaps something came in. FBI officials would not confirm how many more credible tips they've received today. So the last number we have from them is about 750. Presumably that number has gone up. Overall, FBI investigators say they've received 23,000 tips in all since this investigation started almost a month ago. So significant work that's still being done, but the bottom line is still no word on where Nancy Guthrie is.
Which is just stunning. All right. Thank you very much, Ed, who has been in Tucson from the start, and retired NYPD homicide detective Wally Zines is back with me. And Wally, as I said, 25 days since she went missing, and now Ed reporting on this, sudden activity that he hasn't seen anything like it in a week, and you've got all these people in suits. What do you think's happening? Well,
first of all, when you look at that picture, you see the woman and the two other gentlemen that are with her. First of all, FBI agents that are working this case, or law enforcement, do not wear high heels. That's the first thing. If you notice, she's wearing high heels. Makes me think that she is the U.S. attorney or someone who might be prosecuting this case in the future, and they might have some information from a tip where that person has to go back to that crime scene and see certain areas of that particular area in case they do have something. And remember, the law enforcement community there is keeping a lot of information to their vest.
So that's very interesting. But if you're right, and her attire matters, right, her wearing high heels, if that indicates that, at what level of seriousness or how far along do you think it would be where you'd have someone who is possibly a prosecutor in a role like that actually boots on the high heels on the ground?
Well, keep in mind, the most important word in this whole investigation is called probable cause. They might be onto something of a person of interest or persons of interest that they're looking into that may or may not come out to something positive or negative, but they still want to have their guns loaded. They want to have a tactical plan that's ready in the event that they have to go forward and have immediate press release.
So when Savannah Guthrie put out the $1 million offer, we know obviously it's led to a lot of tips. But we know originally they told her, don't do that. The sheriff had said, don't do that. They thought it would lead to too many tips and non-credible ones, right, was the argument that was made at the beginning. So the family waited. Was that the right thing to do?
Well, keep in mind, the FBI, their unit within kidnappings, they have a profile that comes into this program immediately. They look at the possibilities of the different potential suspects that might be, and they know how to program this, because they're not going to come and say, all right, we're going to offer the $1 million right away, because that person, whoever it might be, may want $10 million, $20 million. They see they can get one, they'll go for another. Money talks in this type of situation. The larger the amount, they're going to get more people sending tips, as we've seen today. But the important thing is they know how the program from their past experience. And I believe that, the amount of the $2,500, I think it was, they put in for the first time.
Yep.
And then they started to raise it because the tips weren't coming in enough.
Right, it went 50,
Then
then
it went
Harvey Levin was
50,
getting other things, it went up
right,
to 75, they upped
and now
it.
it's $1,200,000.
So I get, people talk about this, they say, can anybody believe that in a case this high profile with what they have, that they still don't know where she is? Do you think that this case breaks, or is this a cold case?
It's never a cold case. They're always going to have someone working on this. It's an extremely high-profile case.
Yes.
And it's a worldwide case. It's not just that area. It's people from all over, investigative agencies, from the CIA to the FBI to Israel, in fact, is involved helping with this particular case. It's all over the world, and they will not give up on this. I'm more than sure that they'll come up somewhere along the line. And in relationship, you go with the premise that she is still alive.
Yes, and we all hope that, as Savannah said, they will accept it if she isn't, but they are still hopeful that she is and praying that she is. All right, Wally, thank you very much.